Hey, this is Dr. Tom Rogers at Performance Medicine. Today is going to be a very special day because I've reunited with one of my friends from, growing up in Kingsport since we were little kids. Mike Todd, who I've kind of kept up with you through the years. You had a very successful career in all kinds of different stuff, traveled the world, retired recently, and his heart's for ministry. He wants to help people. So if a business came along that he could really help the community of Knoxville where he lives, he wanted to do it. So this perfect opportunity came along to, we're all talking about COVID, and we're worried about the world and contamination. At Performance Medicine, we talk about COVID every day, about how to treat patients, how to prevent it. And we know it's an airborne illness, and we want to prevent people from getting COVID. And of course we use the mask, but there's a new thing that, you hear about people spraying down things and fogging airplanes and all this stuff. But you have joined a company that's based in Knoxville.
Correct.
I think by way of California, your CEO.
Yeah, the founder lived in California, but the investor group that was attracted to it was in Knoxville. He liked the way of living in Knoxville, and he moved to East Tennessee.
There's a lot of Californians moving to Tennessee.
Have
you noticed that?
Ton
I heard yesterday, I was talking to a girl from New York City who moved to Johnson City. She said Tennessee is the number one state that people are moving to get away from COVID.
So it's not only California, Colorado. I mean, I've seen a ton of people move from the Rockies and the far west.
New York. And,
yes.
This area is going to boom because East Tennessee is so great. Yeah. And you grew up in Kingsport, but you've spent all your years since UT when we went there in Knoxville since
Pretty much. 8 years in North Carolina right out of college. Met my bride there. Drug her kicking and screaming back over the mountain, but she loves Knoxville, and we've made it our home for 33 years now.
Well, that's amazing. Well, Mike's an amazing person, amazing friend. I like what you're doing with your ministry. As you see, we have a little device right beside us. And this is why we're not wearing masks right now, because we've got this little diffuser coming out. You can't even really see it. But tell us about your company and why this product is so different. I'm really interested in the toxicity of these things that are coming out because, as you know, Lysol can be toxic to humans, and it's not like a Roundup. But this is a pure product that you can even drink or spray on your salad and spray on your dog food. That it's just, to me, it's incredible. When you called me up telling me about this, I was just dumbfounded, and we're going to use one in our office, of course. And tell me a little bit about how you got involved in this and about this product, Mike.
Yes, well, let me give it a little bit of context too. So hypochlorous has been around for quite some time. The issue with hypochlorous, and let's think about a swimming pool. You've heard of saltwater swimming pools. Instead of putting all these chemicals in the water, you put salt in it, and it gets ionized through a system, and it's constantly moving, and it's zapping the bacteria and any of the pathogens in the way. So it's very, very much similar to that. That's the root of it. So it's been around a while. The problem was, or the issue was, how can we harness it, and how can we make it last? Because it does, its effectiveness goes down as soon as it's not running. So we were able, that's really where our technology is. That's what we've invented, is the ability to make it useful to human beings and killing pathogens over at least a 90-day period. So we've been able to capture that and then bottle it. So some context there. I joined the company just a few weeks ago, but we've been talking for a few months before that. And, they've got a good run rate. By the way, Tommy, this was invented. All this was done before COVID.
That's what I understand.
So it was really just trying to attack bacterias. You got MRSA, you got all kinds of issues in schools and churches, and just your normal flu season, SARS, and all of that. So, it's unfortunate that we're in a COVID era, but it is fortunate that we had this technology, and obviously it's a great application for the time that we're living in right now. So it's water-based, it's hypochlorous. the way we cook it and the way we make it is really what makes the longevity get to where you can actually package it and ship it somewhere and it be useful when it gets there. So what it does is it completely saturates the air. This is a humidifier. And so we put the solution in the cylinder, and it is constantly putting this vapor into the air that's killing COVID or any other pathogen on contact. So if you walked in the door and you were carrying COVID-19, you were infected, your exhale is going to infect some other people if you didn't have protection. It's just a huge layer of protection in the air. It zaps it right out of your mouth or out of your nose.
That is amazing. So if I walked in here with COVID and I was talking to you and we had this thing going, it would kill it as soon as the respiratory droplets came out of my mouth.
Yes, you're breathing this in and you're exhaling, whatever you're exhaling out is killing any pathogen in the way.
One thing we know about COVID is the concept of the viral load.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much of this virus you're exposed to as to how sick you get. So, this thing's 99.9% effective.
On surfaces and 95.7% in the air once it gets to that saturation level. It doesn't take it long either to get to that saturation level.
If I was a school teacher, I would have one of these in my classroom without question. Even before COVID, my wife's a school teacher, and she got sick every year being around these kids. Every year,
can't help it.
At least 2 or 3 times.
That's right.
I bet you every school teacher, every classroom ends up with one of these in their room.
We're trying to get there. We can't keep the product on the shelf. We're manufacturing as fast as we can. We're going to be upping our capacity. We've got a 17,000 square foot building we're going to be moving into just for manufacturing. So
all based in Knoxville.
All based in Knoxville, Baum Drive, right off of Kingston Pike. So it's fortunate timing. It's really what it is. Our Ben had asked me, your son Ben had asked me what our target market is, and it's really just about everybody. But what we focused on right now is schools. You talked about classrooms, schools. Let's get our kids back in school. Let's get our kids, safe when they go to somewhere after school, like the Boys and Girls Club. They were one of our first users. They have not had a single infection that was born in their facility since COVID broke out. And they've got hundreds of kids coming in and out every single day. So it's quite a testimony. Emerald Youth Foundation is another one that has completely deployed it. Major churches. We've been able to get worship services back going again. For churches.
Phenomenal. So schools, churches, factories. I'll tell you another place you should get these are those meat packing plants that have
you
had
mentioned
all
that,
the problems.
Really just about anywhere. Y12 in Oak Ridge, you're very familiar with Oak Ridge, of course.
Yeah.
Y12 has given us a huge order. That's one of our, probably I think our biggest order to date. And they're going to be using our product throughout their factories, even in their trucks. Their trucks they'd spray them down because they'd have different drivers for their trucks. And they noticed that the seats were deteriorating, the dashes were, the vinyl was peeling off. This does not hurt their trucks, and they just go in with a mister and just hit them down after every driver.
So you can use a diffuser or a humidifier in the rooms, and then afterwards, like with churches, you kind of spray it down with that other machine that we have over there.
Yeah, we've got a mister
take some
over
pictures
here,
of it,
and I'll bring it over in a minute.
You just kind of hose it down, and that's just incredible, to me that this technology is here. And the main thing about it is it's not toxic because
it's not toxic.
There's so many toxic properties out there. Look at Roundup. Things that kill things can actually kill you. So this actually is very safe. You have some heavy hitter investors in this thing. We won't mention them, but when you told me the lineup, I was pretty impressed with that. And, if they're willing to back this thing up, this thing could be worldwide. I don't think there's any technology like this, is there?
No, there's not. And really the secret sauce is just how we cook the hypochlorous and really get it stabilized to where it can be useful to kill pathogens over a period of time.
I know when I had a pool, I'll never have another swimming pool in my house. I hope not. It caused me so much problem.
Yes, me
and
too.
I did convert it from a chlorine pool to a saltwater pool, and that was so much better because the chlorine's toxic. I mean, it really is. And these fumes, you're swimming in it, your eyes are burning. Then you convert to a saltwater pool that just does the ion exchange. You can open your eyes underwater, the whole bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not a foreign substance to your body. Your white blood cells is making hypochlorous naturally. So it's part of our immune systems already. So your body is welcoming this additional shield against a pathogen like a virus, like COVID-19. So our target market is really anybody. It is certainly office buildings, medical facilities, schools, churches, nonprofits of all kinds, industrial businesses.
ERs and urgent cares. I mean, who's scared to go to the ER now because of COVID all around?
Exactly.
Or urgent care.
Exactly.
Doctors' offices.
Well, you had mentioned also, just the transportation industry and the airplanes and the sanitation. How do you feel safe again getting on an airplane? In this small tube that 200 people had been on just previously. So we can take our mister and go in and zap it out in 5 to 8 minutes and get the entire inside of the plane sanitized in a very, very quick time. What we're trying to now do is see if we can't get this going through their own filtration system, because we're not an HVAC system. We don't accommodate that. We're a standalone, but there's a way we can marry the technology with some of these systems, these filtration systems.
The HEPA filters and
exactly. All they can do is help us, and all we can do is help them. But this is a lot more efficient and more timely and much more effective.
Oh, I can imagine how much more effective this is, because you're misting and you're killing stuff in the air as you talk.
Yes.
The filters, the HEPA filters are great, but just like the mask, but there's stuff that gets through there.
Yeah.
These COVID-19 particles are so small that they really get through your mask as well. Now they're talking about double masking, and with the new strains of COVID. I mean, we're still in the midst of a huge crisis. I mean, we're at the peak of it. I hope we can downplay this, but this is an ongoing technology that is born out of, really it wasn't born out of COVID. It was here before COVID, but the technologies and the way we're going to change our lives after COVID are going to be remarkable and hopefully a lot safer. I think there's less flu this year, because I haven't seen any in my office, although the pediatricians they tell me they're seeing some influenza. But it seems like to me, I haven't seen it like we usually do every year. So in every aspect, this is going to help our lives.
No question. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with variants of COVID-19 for a long time. There's going to be other viruses. If you can kill one single cell organism, you can most of the time kill others. I mean, it's not 100%. But this is going to be around. Like you said, we started this long before COVID ever became a reality. Unfortunately, it did. Thank goodness we were there to attack it back again. So we're getting as much business as we possibly can right now to thwart this threat and this virus.
You should get this, and I'm the team doctor for a high school football team, and of course I treat a lot of infections, especially with the wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine this on the wrestling mat? Totally non-toxic, because I'm always getting fungal rashes and MRSA in these guys. This would completely wipe that out, probably.
Absolutely. So, you spray it down in between matches or whatever, between practices. Whatever's on that mat from that last guy is going to be on you if you get on that mat. So we've got to get very proactive with it. So, this is it's timely for us. Unfortunately, we do live in the COVID era. When we can get that maybe wrestled to the ground a little bit, there'll be something else. So this is a pathogen killer. It just so happens to kill COVID-19 as well.
I love this product. Mike, for people that are interested, what should they look up? Website? Give them your information.
Yes, we've got 2 websites. One of them is about our company, and it's also an e-commerce engine where you can buy our products. The other one is purely about the products, and it explains what they're doing. So for our website, go for the company, go to IONOGEN. It's spelled IONOGEN,
okay.
IONOGEN.us. Then for the products and for the e-commerce engine, go to www.IONOPURE.com.
This is an amazing product. I'm very happy you called me, and I'm certainly going to use one. If anybody has any questions, contact me at my office or look up the company. And this is going to be a huge deal. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, if anybody's in Knoxville too, we do have 2 retail outlets. We're going to grow that part of the business where people just walk. They know what they want. They walk in, they buy the humidifier or a mister, and you know the juice has to be produced all the time. I call it the juice. Yeah, it's the magic sauce in there. It's the the hypochlorous that we put in there.
I hope you can get an outlet around the Tri-Cities too. Maybe
we can talk about that.
Mike, thank you so much. This is wonderful. I love the fact that you're ministering to the CARM people and to the churches and to the homeless. Some of the stories you told me about the homeless folks in Knoxville not having a place to stay because of COVID infections. They have this around. Now they're back in there, right?
They're back in there now. Yes.
Because of this.
Emerald Youth Foundation in Knoxville, Boys and Girls Clubs everywhere. I mean, it's these kids need a place to go, a safe place to go when they're out of school. If we can get them back into school and get them back into the clubs that they love in their community, and that's what we're doing.
You're giving. Help somebody else out. I mean, that's what we're all here for. So I'm proud of you. It's good to see you again after all these years here in Kingsport. Mike Todd, wonderful guy, wonderful company. Keep your ears tuned to this new product. We're certainly going to use it here.
Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike. We'll see you guys next week.